Iran announces development of an indigenous heavyweight tank. Was developed as an indigenous heavy Iranian armored platform designed to reduce the country's long-standing reliance on Russian-made armor and match the latest tanks fielded by rival powers in the Middle East. While the Iranian Army and Revolutionary Guards Corps had to rely on antiquated British and U.S. tank designs during the Iran-Iraq War, namely the Chieftain and M60 acquired in large numbers under the Western-aligned Pahlavi dynasty, to counter more capable Iraqi armor. The country moved to acquire advanced artillery from North Korea to compensate for this disadvantage, and would go on to acquire Soviet-made battle tanks in the war's aftermath. With the Warsaw Pact disintegrating and the USSR collapsing, the opportunities for Iran to acquire battle tanks from cash-strapped Eastern European countries and Soviet successor states were manifold, providing the country with considerable opportunities to modernize its capabilities. Iran's ground forces would acquire 140 T-72M1 battle tanks from Poland and 37 of the same model from Belarus, alongside approximately 300 older T-62 and T-55 platforms. To enlarge its T-72 divisions, Iran acquired a license from Russia to produce the T-72S, manufacturing over 2,500 of the battle tanks domestically. This license production revolutionized the country's armored warfare capabilities, and made the formidable battle tank the mainstay of the country's armored divisions. While the T-72 also formed the backbone of Russia's armored units, and continues to do so until today as the country upgrades older tanks to the highly sophisticated B-3 variant. Export variants of the platform sold to Iran, much like those sold to Iraq and Warsaw Pact nations, were considerably less capable than those deployed by the Russian army itself. Iran previously sought to acquire S-300 PMU-2 missile systems, MiG-31 heavyweight interceptors, and T-72 battle tanks from Russia. And though it failed to acquire any aircraft from post-Soviet Russia, it did gain a license to manufacture several hundred T-72 tanks domestically, which currently comprise the mainstay of its armored units. Iran has attempted to compensate for its lack of major imports of foreign hardware by attempting to manufacture systems domestically, including the Kurar battle tank and the Balvar 373 air defense system. Neither of these are though to be capable of matching their modern Russian counterparts. It remains to be seen what kind of armaments Iran will seek to acquire, but with the country's aerial warfare capabilities lagging particularly far behind, these are likely to be prioritized. The S-400 system is a likely choice, and Russia has expressed willingness to export a system to Iran in the past after sales to neighboring Turkey. While acquisition of at least some new fighter units is almost certain given the age and limited capabilities of the current fleet. A far longer and more protracted war in the Middle East saw Western and Soviet tank designs engage one another in much larger battles, which demonstrated more clearly the performance advantages of the latter over the former. The Iran-Iraq War saw both sides deploy the most capable export-available tanks of their time, with the Iranian army deploying 460 M60 tanks from the US alongside an elite of 870 British Chieftain tanks. The Chieftain was the only Western tank thought to rival the M60 at the time, and Iran notably fielded hundreds more of these than the British Army itself. Iraq at the start of the war fielded approximately 1,000 T-62 tanks alongside an elite of around 50 T-72 seconds, with the T-72 design having entered service in the Soviet military from 1973 and the Middle East having been its first export destination. The new Soviet tank was considered the third most capable in the country's inventory, and was developed as a lighter and cheaper derivative of the T-64 design, the country's number 2 tank. With the elite of Soviet armored units now formed by T-80 tanks, which were considered the most capable,